Welcome back everyone to Advanced Makeup Tip Tuesday for week number 3. We have the lovely Angela sitting in our chair today. What have you been wanting to learn?
How to highlight and contour.
Yay! I'm so excited because we haven't had one yet. And we're going to demystify contouring and highlighting because it's actually way simpler than what you think. So I'm really excited to teach you all the things. Right, so I do already have her complexion and everything completed. So I'm really just going to focus on her cheeks so we can really make sure that this makes sense to y'all. We're going to take shade. So when you're contouring, it's very important that you're picking a contour shade that's not too ashy, which means gray undertone, and not too warm. Because when a warm shade goes on there, it looks like a bronzer. And bronzer is designed to look like you've been sun-kissed, not to create that shading for shadow. So it's basically what we're doing is we're creating the shadow of the bone structure to push those back. So the definition of contour is to push back, and the definition of highlight is to bring forward. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna push back your cheekbones and then make the top of them pop out. So I'm gonna take a tiny little bit of our shade, and I'm gonna use a brush that looks like this. You can also use like an angled brush, but you just wanna make sure you have control. Like if you were to try to go into something like this, it's not gonna work because you're gonna lose control, right? So I'm gonna use this one. So where we find our natural guide is you'll actually take your finger and you're gonna place it right by that nub back by your ear. And you can almost feel like your cheekbone, like it goes from here and then it slides right in. That is your guide point. That's what we're pushing back. And we're not gonna go down because that's how our teeth go, right? We wanna go straight across to emphasize the cheekbones. So none of this, right? Because that'll make you go down. And when you see that, like with drag queens, they do that a lot because they don't have the same, right? They're trying to create that chiseled effect, right? Where we already have that, so we're just emphasizing our natural features. Like you can almost start up by your temple and just slowly press your finger down, and you'll feel your finger go right into your cheekbone there. That's what we're looking for, right? So if you take your knuckle, that works best. And we're always gonna start back by this little part of the ear. I can never remember what it's called, but I call it the little thingy. Okay. We're gonna start back by that thingy. That way we don't get a disconnect, right? Because if we start here, let's say you have your hair beautifully pulled back or something like that, or a barrette, you're gonna see a disconnect with your makeup, and we want it to be seamless. So I'm gonna take a tiniest little bit. As our products are very highly concentrated with pigment, you wanna pick up and almost like dab off, because less is more, right? We don't wanna see a line, we just wanna see the shading. So I'm gonna start right back on that earlobe, and I'm literally following your cheekbone forward. That is it. So you notice I'm not going like this, right? Because I'll lose control. Yeah. And then the contour shade ends up everywhere and we're not getting that precise shading. So start back and blend forward, okay? And then I'll always take my brush and sort of blend just back by the ear more. So if you were to go out at night, that's a little different. You can get away with a heavier contour or heavier shading because of the lighting's different, but for natural everyday, you don't want to actually see anything. It's just a shade. So if you look in the mirror and you see a line, you need to blend until you don't see a line, right? So less is more. It's always best to build up. So I'm going to take a tiniest little bit, start back, and we're just going to let that brush just guide right off. Guide right off. And then what I'll do is I'll take whatever's left over my brush and I push back your temples, and I'll take the remainder and go underneath your jawline. So starting back by your ear again, so there's no disconnect. We're gonna go right underneath, and then we're gonna blend down. So again, you'll notice I'm very much in control, so really getting that chiseled effect. So long gone are the days. I don't know, do you remember like, everyone has to have an oval shape. Do I have a heart shape? How do I make it look oval? No, those are gone. We're not doing that anymore. It's all about emphasizing and enhancing everyone's natural bone structure, right? So starting back here and going forward and forward. So you see how we don't see a line, it's just nicely shaded, which is why this color is called shade. Also very confusing because everyone's like, oh, I love shade. I was like, well, what shade? They're like, well, shade. I'm like, no, what shade? They're like, the color shade. I was like, I should have called that something different. So lightly push back, and I'll go underneath the jawline. I like this brush because it's like pointed, so it kind of gives me that really great guide of where I'm going. I'm in control. How do you feel with that one?
Good. That was
easy?
Sense, yeah.
Awesome. Were you afraid that it was going to be like some crazy?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, understandable. Oh, the internet. So now that our contour is on, I'm going to go and do our cheeks. So when we do our definition to our contour and our cheeks, kind of think of it like shading like art. Like remember like when you used to shade a ball in art class? So same sort of thing. We have our shading, now we're going to do our color, and then we're going to do our highlight. So it's kind of like shading a little cheek ball. It's going to take you Make Me Blush. Very highly pigmented. You want to dot that off. Okay? Get you to look in the mirror. So I'll get you to smile. That is the apples of your cheek is your natural guide of where you want to start your blush. So right there, and we're going to go back. I'm just going to take a little bit of the blur. Let's say you over dotted and you put too much pigment concentration. You can take your blur and just blur it out. But we're going to go this all the way into the hairline. So because remember, the first placement of your pigment application is always going to be the densest. So you want it here, not back here, right? But when we do our contour, we want that definition back there. So that's why we start this way. Contour, cheeks, back. And by smiling, get you to smile again, we're creating a guide, that space, that negative space where the blush won't get too close to your nose, right? Perfect. A lot and down. Smile. So when you do your blush, you want to make sure that you leave that negative space. Like there should be a finger here, back, of no blush, okay. Right? Now it's time for my absolute favorite part. We're going to create a custom cream highlight using Gaia Gloss and one of our art shadows. So I'm going to use Gold Dust today because we're going for like some bronzy. Yeah, it's my favorite. So super multifunctional product, right? I'm going to apply a little bit to the back of my hand. I'm going to take Gold Dust. So that's this puppy here. And I'm actually just going to use my finger. So just like this. So pick some up, okay? And you're gonna mix on the back of your hand. Now the trick with this one is you don't want it to be too glossy like a gloss, but you don't want it to be too dry. So it's like kind of that perfect cream consistency. Okay. So once I get that, I'm gonna turn you this way. So we have your contour, your cheek. Now on the very top part of the cheekbone, that's where we're gonna stamp. So it's right here. So you can almost feel it's like the highest part of the cheekbone. So we're going to stamp, okay? And we're going to take a clean finger and we're just going to stipple and blend that out. So you'll notice I'm not taking the highlight up into your temples because remember, what's the definition of highlight? Bring forward. Yeah. We don't really want to bring our temples forward, right? We just want to bring that cheekbone. And I'm not taking it past like where your pupil is. So that way it creates balance to the face. So I'll get you to look in the mirror. See when you move? Mm-hmm. Isn't that pretty? So it looks like you're glowing from within as opposed to just a shadow sitting on top, right? Yeah. I'm going to stamp. So I'll let you look in the mirror at this point so you can see. So you can see how I've left this negative space there. Yeah. Very important. And then you're just going to stipple with a clean finger to make sure that all those edges are blended. And notice how I'm blending it down, not up. Like you'll be able to see it when you hit the light. Like if you can see it in the mirror, you need to blend, right? We shouldn't be seeing like a strobe light because you think of like strobing, that was a term that was passed around for trending for highlighting, but like strobe, think of how intense a strobe light is. Right? Highlighting should really just look like you're glowing from within in the right points of the skin of the face. So and I don't ever highlight the nose again. Why? Because highlight, we're pushing forward. The nose is already the furthest point out. There's no reason for that. It's a big trend right now. So the difference between us is trend makeup, so Instagram, YouTube, that kind of a thing where it's really, really highlighted, and classic makeup that will last a lifetime. So the one part that I will do is right under your Cupid's bow. You just have to make sure it doesn't go too high because it can look like a milk stash, especially those pros out there. I've been there, done that. Less is more. And that's it. How do you feel?
Good.
Good.
Much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
right. I'm so happy to hear that. Do you feel that this is something that you'd be able to recreate at home?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you, Missy.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for coming, Angela. So happy. So this completes our third week of Makeup Tip Tuesday. Thank you so much again, Angela, for coming in. And we, of course, are going to be looking for more models. So if you guys would like to come in, learn some things, and sit in my chair, please comment below. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.